So Spider-Man 2 is launching tomorrow. It is finally upon us, and although I'm sure you guys have already made your mind up on the game, I wanted to go over everything you need to know about the game, just in case any of you aren't 100% sure on whether or not you want to buy it just yet. Before we get into it, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you are interested in more Spider-Man content. There is going to be plenty more on the way, but with that being said, let's get stuck into everything you need to know about Spider-Man 2. Now, firstly, for just the absolute basics, just to get them out of the way, the game is launching on October 20th, and it is actually a PS5 exclusive. So it's not only a PlayStation exclusive, but it won't even be launching on the PS4, which, although it sounds a little bit harsh, is a great decision as it allows them to harness the power of the PS5 without really needing to worry about getting everything to work on the PS4 as well. Now, in terms of the cost, the standard edition will be around $69.99 in the US, which translates to 69 euros for those of you in Europe, 59.99 Great British pounds if you are in the UK, or around a whopping $125 if you are a fellow Aussie. Keep in mind that is online anyway, as in on the PlayStation Store. It is actually always a bit cheaper if you get the physical edition in store. As for the deluxe edition, this will be only around $10 to $15 more no matter where you are. So that is $79.99 USD, $79.99 euros, $69.99 GBP, or $140 here in Australia. Again, that is obviously going to be cheaper in store. Now, as for what you get in the deluxe edition, you'll get the pre-order bonuses that you get if you just pre-order the standard edition of the game, which are the Arachnite suit for Peter and the Shadow suit for Miles, each of which also have 3 different color variants as well. You'll then also get the web grabber gadget and 3 additional skill points, and all of that right there is just the standard pre-order bonuses. On top of those, for the deluxe edition though, you will get a further 10 unique spider suits for Peter and Miles, that being 5 each of course, all of which look absolutely awesome, and you'll then get another 2 skill points to spend, totaling 5, as well as some additional photo mode items, which I'm actually not too sure they've made public yet, at least not as of recording this anyway. Now, touching on the gameplay side of things, obviously Peter and Miles are both playable in Spider-Man 2, and if you've ever played GTA 5, which I'm sure most of you guys probably have, it'll be a very similar system to that. Obviously, in GTA 5, you could pretty much switch between Franklin, Trevor, and Michael at will. There are obviously certain missions where you're kind of locked in as one character and you can't change during that mission, but outside of that, you can pretty much change between these characters whenever you want, and it was almost seamless. Obviously, with that game being a little bit older, there was a slight loading time, but it was pretty much seamless in that you could just do it whenever you wanted, and then within a few seconds you would, switch over to that character. Now, that is going to be exactly the same in this game, switching between obviously Peter and Miles, and we've seen that it will be essentially seamless in this game. There is not really going to be a loading screen at all, and they've blown away a lot of people by showing us that gameplay. So that is going to be a really, really cool mechanic. It seems as though whenever we're not locked into a specific mission with either Peter or Miles, or even both of them, we're pretty much just going to be able to switch between them at will. I'm sure there will be missions where you obviously have to play as Peter and you can't switch to Miles during that mission, and vice versa. And I'm sure there's also going to be missions where we're both fighting together pretty much, and you have to switch between them. It's almost forced by Insomniac that, you might be playing as Peter, you land a strike on one of the bosses, then you've got to switch to Miles and land another hit and have some like quick time moments like that. So there will be moments we're locked in, but for the most part, we're pretty much just going to be able to pick and choose who we want to play as, which is a very, very cool system. On top of that, the gameplay has been enhanced in so many other different ways. For one, the traversal looks a lot cleaner now with the web wings, meaning you can essentially fly around the map with ease, and even just the web slinging looks a lot cleaner, which says a lot because it was already great in the first game anyway. So traversal as a whole just looks absolutely phenomenal in this game, and that is definitely very important because the map is quite a bit larger, which I'll get to in a second, but we are definitely going to need that added speed getting around the city of New York, seeing as it is a fair bit bigger than the first game. There are also now 3 unique skill trees in the game, one for Peter, one for Miles, and one that actually counts for both of them, adding a bit of familiarity between characters because obviously they will have their own playstyles. So that one skill tree that's going to be between them, that'll just be for stuff that essentially allows us to have a few skills that are available for both of them, meaning that they're not going to play completely different. They'll have their own skill sets, but obviously we want to have some familiarity there, which is why there are 3 skill trees instead of 2. Miles still has his signature bioelectric abilities, whereas Peter is a little bit more brutal with his symbiote enhanced skill set. And so, like I said, they will play quite differently from each other, and I'm very keen to get stuck into both of the skill trees for each character, as well as seeing what is in there for the one that counts for both of them. Now, touching on the map, like I said earlier, they have shown the size of the playable map, and it is essentially double the size of the New York that we got in the first Spider-Man game, this time adding Queens and Brooklyn to the already established playable area. So there's going to be a lot more for us to explore in this game compared to the first game and Miles Miles Morales. And like I said, that is essentially double the size. So it is already a pretty solid map. The first game was already touted with a very, very big map for a game of this scale, and they have only just gone and doubled that, which is definitely very exciting. Now, in terms of the size of the game, in terms of how long it's going to be to complete it, as well as doing all the side content and stuff like that, Insomniac have confirmed it will be roughly 15 to 20 hours if you just sort of follow the main path of the game, or between 35 and 40 hours if you try and do all of the side content in terms of the side missions and try and unlock all the unique suits and stuff like that. A lot of people have complained about the 15 to 20 hours, obviously considering the cost of the game is very, very high. But for me personally, I do kind of prefer those shorter, like sweeter, straight to the point type of games. I absolutely love some of the bigger games out there, games like Skyrim, and even more recently with Starfield, for example. I do love those really expansive games that take hundreds of hours to play. But that being said, I personally think when a game is a bit more short and sweet, it allows them to really focus on the quality. And so I do think that is absolutely still worth the cost. Plus, like I said, it's going to be between 35 and 40 hours if you want to try and go for 100%, potentially even up to 50 hours if you want to get like every single trophy and stuff too. And so a 50-hour game is 100% worth the cost, in my opinion. Overall, the game seems to be a drastic improvement on the first game, which, as I mentioned before, says quite a lot considering that game was already very solid, and we have definitely got a lot to be excited about as Spider-Man fans. With that being said, keep your eyes peeled on the channel, as there is going to be plenty of guide content right here. I'm planning to go really in depth on where to find all of the different suits, all of the cool little hidden secrets and stuff in the game that you guys might not notice. And so if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There is going to be a hell of a lot of Spider-Man content on the way. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.